This is the book of First Timothy, chapter 6, beginning at verse 3. If any man teach otherwise and consent not to wholesome words, even the words of our Lord Yahushua Mashiach, to the doctrine which is according to godliness, he is proud, knowing nothing but doting about questions and strives of words, whereof cometh envy, strife, railings, evil surmisings, perverse disputing of men of corrupt minds and destitute of the truth, supposing that gain is godliness. From such withdraw thyself. But godliness with contentment is great gain. For we brought nothing into this world, and it's certain we can carry nothing out. And having food and raiment, let us be therewith content. But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. Verse 10, for the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some covet after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. I want to start off by giving all praises, all honor, and all glory to call Loyam La Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rachakodesh Rakatham. Double honors to the apostles and to the elders of Great Millstone who do rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akwat and the Yakim out there listening and learning. Lord willing, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of the other nations, which appear like the other nations, but whom subscribe to this truth. To you I say Shalom. It's Brother Yabasap out of the GMS Cleveland Church, a fellow servant coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit and through the power of Yahweh Shem Shai. And basically, came across this article on Newsbreak. Yeah, testament to the times we in. It seemed like every time I look up, they doing another article about this inflation, and that's the Most High God actually like making it known. And yet, and still, you're gonna still have individuals that's gonna get caught out here butt naked, and we caught here blindsided when you shouldn't be blindsided if you aware and paying attention to what's going on. But so many people are caught in their own vain imaginations, and it talks about 2 Timothy chapter 3 verse 1. In the last days, people will be boasters of themselves, vain. So again, that's why I started with that First Timothy, because at the time we coming in, it's more. I mean, that's why scriptures talk about give me not poverty. For a man in the truth, give me not poverty nor riches, but give me food that's sufficient for me. You don't want to have too much, and you don't want to have too little. You don't want to be destitute and lack of bread, but you don't want to be like have an overabundance, because like the rich man, I forgot where it is in Matthew. I know it's in Luke too, but like I think it's in Luke. I know it's in Matthew, but the rich man that was sorrowful, and it talks about how Yahushua said, sorry for a camel to. I mean, it's harder for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven than the camel to go through the eye of a needle. Meaning, that's broken down many times. Basically, those old city walls and gates, you had a smaller door, so they didn't have to draw that drawbridge up and open that gate. They could just, if a person was coming, because I guess daily they will open that gate to the city, but at nighttime you might have travelers or whatnot, and you had guards posted, and if you were allowed to enter the city, they wouldn't open the whole gate. They just open that little that eye of the needle, and it goes into basically how a camel is a stubborn creature or beast. So for that camel to actually enter through that door, that needle, it would have to basically submit. And a rich man, being that he's still in love with the things of this world, he's not going to want to give up those riches. And that was the whole meaning of that account. And it's the spiritual, because I had got the understanding of that when the elders, through the spirit, how, from time and time again, you got the elders and apostles and other, heads and whatnot, that the spirit jumps on them to defend the gospel against these, camps that are going off, and the Christians and the vocabs and all these different individuals, because the scriptures talk about being defenders of the gospel, and You know how you had Sakari going into basically the law, the law, the law, the law, the law, and I think IUIC was doing it as well. But I forgot it was. I believe it was Apostle Elder Apostle Tahar that made mention of it. But he was saying, well, you got to understand that rich man was following the law. He said he fasts, he does this, he gives up his tithes, he pays his tithes, he does all these things, and yet still the law didn't save him. You know, truth be told, I mean, like I got kind of confused because of the Shabbat, because we were rehearsing the righteous acts, but because the High Holy Day Purim fell on the Shabbat, you know, in actuality, and it's all through the Spirit, because I was just listening to the elder Apostle Tahar and the elders live camp, and he was going into the Shabbat. So being that a Shabbat is looked at as a or a high holy day, and the Shabbat's all kind of similar. So all like your feast and your meals supposed to be prepared prior. And he was saying, like the elder Apostle Hart said, he don't even, if he gonna eat something, he'll eat a sandwich or some fruit or whatnot, maybe a smoothie, but otherwise, or he prepares the food the day before. So it's all through the Spirit though. But showing you how it's hard to keep the laws. I mean, damn near impossible, because like I said, we don't have our own stuff. We can't really keep the laws here. We try our best, because we say by grace, but that doesn't mean, we have faith. That's why we attempt to keep the law. But not to switch up the point of this video, because like I said, showing you what time we are in. Salakia for going off, digressing. Let's get back on topic. Showing you what time we in. Like I said, there's a lot of articles about this inflation. And you see it more and more. Like I just went to Aldi's. Aldi's is always relatively cheap. I buy ground turkey from there, and just noticed, like I said, usually last time I bought some, and that hadn't been that long ago. It was $1.99. Now it's like $2.29. A lot of little shit, you know, you know. I mean, I was able to get a majority of the things I needed, but like oranges up to $4. Like I buy my I buy but Yamya mandarins, and like I watched them go up. They was $3.89. Now they're $4.13 or something like that. So yeah, I mean, it's all spiritual. I just went to the store today too. So it says the Fed's battle to fight inflation could cause more pain than higher prices. It says rapidly rising prices have caused economic hardship for millions of Americans, but drastic actions reining in prices could lead to even more pain, including job losses. Because when you got to understand, this inflation is going to hurt who the most? The poor, Jake. And then that's going to cause an uptick in crime. And and again, like I said, this is all systematic to a degree. It says overall price jumped 7.5% during the last year, according to the January Consumer Price Index reading, the fastest pace in nearly 40 years. The increases have squeezed household budgets for consumers, caused political problems for Joe Biden, and resulted in calls for the Federal Reserve to take relatively severe actions, such as its first half percentage point hike since 2000, which I was reading. So they talking about raising the interest rates and whatnot. But some economists are cautioning that it would be a very bad idea, hurting the people that the battle on rising prices is meant to help. That's because the main tool available to the Fed to fight inflation, raising interest rates, is designed to curb inflation by slowing what has been a very strong economy. Which, to a degree, because all these people quit these jobs, and that's systematic to a degree, you know. Because, like I said, you got a lot of people. There's a lot of government money out here still, to the point where literally you got people that didn't get stimulus checks but went and filed for them and got them on the back end. So it's money still floating around, but being when it's free money around, people ain't trying to work. So, like I said, when they lock this down again, because best believe something is brewing. You know, a lot of people gonna be caught blindsided again. Even with the best year of economic growth and job gains in decades, the economy still has 2.5 million fewer jobs than it did heading into the pandemic. And that's the truth. because you had whole industries have to shut down because they couldn't keep afloat for a number of reasons. I mean, like just based on like look at this, these restaurants. You know, that's why, brothers still go out to eat, but I don't do as much. I mean, be honest, I have like the last couple of days, but for the most part, I never, I ain't gonna say I never, but since I've been in truth, I haven't, I go out with brothers here and there, but I was more so like a homebody. I would cook, you know what I mean, or eat something that is relatively quick and easy at the house, because you know, for a number of reasons, but especially now because of the fact that the cost of food is going up, so these restaurants and businesses gotta make up for that. I just bought this it's a Moabite spot in our local mall, and like I use this mall to get to and from my house because it's, they got the trains and whatnot, and I haven't eaten there and I can't even recall, probably over a year or something like that. Last time I was there, the same thing I just bought today was like six, maybe 30. I think they always use like 6.29 or whatnot, and I went today and it's 7.99. So again, because the food's more expensive, they got to make their money, so they're gonna charge you more. Even with the it says the people you're drafting into the fight against inflation when you raise interest rates and slow the economy are the most vulnerable, said Robert Reich, the former U.S. Labor Secretary under President Bill Clinton and a professor of public policy at the University of California, Berkeley. The purpose of raising interest rates is to take the air out of the sails of the economy. If it works, you are, by definition, are going to have fewer jobs. Even small increases in interest rates, if they have the desired effect, will cause job losses and wage losses. Because interest rates, basically, all that money is, is going. Things are going to be like, like the cost of certain things are going to be more expensive. So and most businesses cut costs. So if they have to cut jobs, say for instance, you had a workload where you had 30 employees. Well, to save money, they may eliminate two or three jobs to eliminate those costs and then just put more work on the workers, which I'm experiencing at a job right now. And the crazy part is, this is actually the most high toughening you up because that's all jobs. That's why you got, the brother brought it out at camp one day. I forgot what it's called, but they call it the mass exodus. It's called something else too, but the mass exodus of the jobs. You got people walking away from jobs in record numbers because people are overworked, underpaid, stressed out. Still, it's clear that high prices are a major concern for many Americans. It is widely accepted that the Fed must take action against inflation. Says the Fed, which has raised rates by 1/4.5 times since the previous June, decided to get even tougher with a half-point hike in May 2000. The economy did not take it well. Private sector employers who had added jobs every month in the previous 5 years suddenly cut jobs in May 2000 because of cost. Because you got to remember, businesses are in business to make money. They ain't in business just to, you know what I mean? And then again, you know, during these times like this, like when you go into the Great Recession, you had it was a huge like wealth jump and gap based on that because you got businesses that actually go broke, and then you got these people that got money that actually come in and swoop and buy businesses for pennies on the dollar. You got to understand, like these bankers made a lot of money during the recession, just like they just made a lot of money during this pandemic. And then it says Fed's powerless to fight much of the inflation. A 40% rise in gasoline prices by itself has raised the overall consumer price index by 1.5% percentage points in the last year. Record car prices, which I was just looking at it. This ain't the right time to buy a car. And the Lord's so cold because I'm going through car issues right now. Call her lawyer, blah, y'all, but me shot. Rate hikes could hit your home value. I don't own a home. How quickly can rates be raised safely? And which, at the end of the day, is ultimately, you know, they trying to control, like it's called organized chaos. That's why if you ever heard of the chaos theory, they say chaos isn't really random. It has a pattern. It's a couple movies based on that. Because when you go into the Joker and the character and what that it really is, it's spiritual for real. You know, although he just seemed like he was doing shit just to be doing it because he was crazy, he was causing chaos. That's why, like, when you watch that last Joker that they made, which actually put a spirit out here, if you actually pay attention to it, it's fucking devil. But the Joker is actually a demon, just like Batman really represent Esau. You know, but Joker's actually a spirit. And I remember when the Lord enlightened me to that through one of the Batman comic books, through one of the DC comic books. And then they show you that in that last Joker movie. But not to digress again. So point being, inflation, and because of the way that this financial system is based on fiat currency, which it doesn't really truly hold a value, you know, I remember going to school and finding out, our money was based on the gold and Fort Knox and all that. And then now all of a sudden, our money is based on because the government says that the money's based on. So in actuality, the only reason why the currency holds value is because you believe in it. And that's when it goes back to what brothers say that it's a talisman. When you look at all the Masonic symbology and whatnot on the dollar bill, that's how, lets you know it's a talisman. Like, this is nothing new. This was systematic. So that's why the book of Habakkuk talks about where is that at? Haggai? Putting your first of all, because it's worthless anyway, so it's like you putting uh your money in a bag with holes because the money isn't worth anything anyway. I mean, like, true money. I was watching that King Arthur with the guy that played in Sons of Anarchy, the latest one about the Guy Ritchie, and it show you he was saving actual silver and gold and whatnot. And he ended up obtaining wealth in that movie. That was actually a pretty good movie. Brother kept on saying it was good. I finally ended up getting to see it. And it was actually a really good movie because it's so symbolic, and you could look at it so many different ways. That sword, you want to be able to wield that sword like him. But then, he took it like Elric too. If you ever read the story of Elric, it's a guy named Brandon Sanderson. He got a book that's kind of lightweight, similar, based on something like that. Like they gain power through the swords. I forgot the name of the book though, but when you take time to think about it, because we look at the scriptures as a sword, and like the elder Tazapah from Houston said, and if you wield it, I could be dangerous with it. Like I was like, elder was in the spirit that, like they said, shit, you got to learn to wield it so you could be dangerous. He said, so these demons don't, so these spirits don't really. Well, he didn't say it that proudly. He said it like, but basically, you got to learn to wield the sword. He was like, and you could be precise and wield it with precision. It was something. It was the way he worded it. It was like he articulated it very beautifully. But Salakia. So when you go into Habakkuk chapter 2, I'm gonna just get to the point because I'm trying to. I got to get ready for work. It says Habakkuk 2:6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him? And against whom is this red devil, this red Hebrew Edomite, Esau Edom, who you ignorantly call the so-called white man? And a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. So, it tells you, I think it's in here. Uh, yeah, right. In verse 5, it talks about he enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as deaf and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth up unto him all nations. So, each nation, it tells you in the scriptures, is appointed their allotment of land. And, Most High, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, allows some nations to be overran and taken over. Because when you go into slavery and whatnot, it's always been slavery. It's always been one people over another. That's just facts. And the scriptures tell you this. But see, and these are things that the average Joe Schmo doesn't understand. They have, because you've been fed this certain doctrine, that's actually used to weaponize things. Because when you take the time to think about it, with this love spirit, you got a group of people that actually took things by force and then telling you to turn the other cheek so they can hold on to what the fuck they done took by force. Ain't that something? You know, and I ain't gonna say I always thought about that, but when you really read, like, they tell you that the Most High God is against thou shalt not kill. But it's a difference between killing and murder. It also tells you when the Most High God brought the Israelites into the land of Canaan, he told them to kill everything in that land. Man, woman, and child. I think he said even kill the animals. Because that's how defiled they defiled it. And that's why, that place spiritually is likened on to this place today. Look how defiled this place is. It's things going on. I was thinking about this. You got Nick Cannon and that bitch Kim Kardashian got these grown ass men looking like simps. These men got fucking money, but chasing back after these nasty ass women that then went and, they was already used and abused because other men had them. See, if I had money, I would just go get some a female you didn't even know about, that hasn't been abused by the industry in the world like that. That's just me though, because you take time to really think about, like, what makes a female like really attractive to the world is because she's put on a pedestal by this fucked up ass media. Because it's way prettier women that you've never even seen on a day-to-day basis. Like the little chick that the baby got a baby by. That's a pretty beautiful woman. You know what I mean? Just like all his girls is. He ain't when like Lil Boosie. They ain't gonna get no celebrity with a opinion and and all that old shit. It's a lock it. It's just like again, this place is so fucking defiled, and that's why it's gonna be judged the way it's gonna get judged. It says back in verse 6. Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, how long, and him that ladeth himself with thick clay. So when you go into that clay, it's talking about it goes into debts. So this monetary system that we utilize today in America, aka Babylon, is a debt-based system. When you go into the fiat currency, it's debt-based. And so and all this inflation and all that, like because basically the same thing happened in ancient Rome. That's how you know what time you're living in, and that's how you know that this is the modern day Rome revised. That beast that was wounded but did heal. Because a lot of this, it's mirrored after it in a lot of ways. The military force, America spends more on its military than any other thing. That's what you got, why you got the military complex. Uh, with all this roads and just the debt system and the governmental structure of it, the two-party system. You had how Caesar was considered and likened on to a president, and then you got a president of modern day Babylon, aka America. And again, if history repeats itself, it tells you that in the book of Ecclesiastes. There's no new thing under the sun. Why do it seem like history is always repeating itself? Because the spirits that have been before always come back in their same lot to do the same thing over and over. Because you got righteous spirits that's programmed to do righteousness, and you got wicked spirits that's programmed to do wickedness. So I'm going to end it with this Matthew. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 24. And I'm going to start at verse 34. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled. So anything red lettered, if you are aware, I'm not for sure. I assume that, I have the same subscribers. YouTube, matter of fact, keep fucking with me. I don't have many subscribers, but they always take one subscriber. And the elder Ayatham from Connecticut said, they do that. And I didn't believe it. And then I'm watching them do it. And I don't even have, but that's also the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Maybe I suffer from pride, and so that I don't get puffed up. Because knowledge does puff up. That's in the scriptures. I just was listening to the elder speak on that. The elder Apostle Gabar. He say, and we have been given the most powerful knowledge on the planet. So of course you could become prideful in this thing. That's why you got people that bug out and fall out, and people like Sakari that come against the elders. But it's saying this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled. What things? These prophecies. Verse 35, heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away, because they were written before time. It tells you in the book of Romans, the things that's written before time were written for our learning. So these prophecies were written before these generations came to pass. And, that's what makes the Bible so the number one. It's the true book, because all those other so-called spiritual books don't have prophecies in them. Verse 36, but of the day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. So even Yahweh Shai, who you ignorantly call Jesus Christ, doesn't know the day of the Lord. Because when you go into the scriptures, people don't even understand. I challenge you to do something if you're new to this channel. Go do a simple Google search of the term, the day of the Lord. Wow, people go to these, pork chop eating pastor churches and, all these different churches that just basically breaking the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And look up the day of the Lord. They teach you, it's a day of like kumbaya and everybody's going to come together and it's going to be. But if the Lord wanted everybody to come together like that, why did he basically break apart the Tower of Babel? America is a place that's considered everybody coming together as one. But America wasn't the first place to do that. When you go into Antiochus Epiphanes, which this is a repeat of that, it tells you in the Apocrypha in the book of Maccabees about how he wanted all people to come together as one. That was, when you go into what Nimrod did in the Tower of Babel, he was the first one to actually trying to get everybody to come together as one. The Lord is not with everybody come together as one. That's why he made separate nations. But you go look up the day of the Lord. The day of the Lord is not no kumbaya. The day of the Lord talks about death and destruction. So when the Lord come back, while you talk about the Lord coming back with the balloons and, oh yeah, and you thinking he got blonde hair with the blue eyes and coming. No, the Lord coming back to fuck shit up. And that's mentioned multiple times in the Bible. So again, I challenge anybody that's not aware or doesn't know. And based on that's such a powerful insight, knowing what the day of the Lord really is, that may help you to be like, damn, because you'll realize these motherfuckers been lying. If you don't take the time to consider your actions, or if you really think that the Most High God is all love, yeah, you're not going to care about sinning. But if you terrified of the Most High God, that'll actually, it talks about how the Most High God sends scourges for amendment, meaning he sends death and destruction and pestilence and famines to get the people to stop sinning and to act right. Like say you had a lot of people up there nervous when we locked down. But once they lifted all that, niggas turned back to niggas. America actually got worse. Verse 37, but as the days of Noah were, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. Verse 38, for as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying, and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Because it talks about how Yahushua HaMashiach, who you ignorantly call Jesus Christ, is going to come as a thief in the night when people are not aware. It talks about that in Thessalonians about people going to say peace and safety and sudden destruction shall come. Because it's not meant for everybody to get it. And then yet still you talk about all love. The Lord is actually waiting to judge people for real. It tells you how the Most High God loveth judgment. Now go and sit back and consider that one. So I'm gonna end the lesson on that. If you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, or you will be destroyed. And with that, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Kol Haloyim La Yahweh, Ba Hashem Yahushai, Ba Hashem Racha Kodash Barakatham. Double honors to the apostles and to the elders, a great millstone who do rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akwat and the Yakim out there listening and learning. Lord willingly, this was edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, which appear like the other nations, but whom subscribe to this truth. To you I say shalom. Until next time I'm able to come with another lesson. Shalom, shalom. Mawatha lababah. Shalom.